Let's talk about talents. In particular, let's talk about the word talent. Now, if you were here on this Sunday 4 years ago, and you have a great memory, you will remember we talked about this before. Does that apply to anyone here? Okay, so let's talk about it again. So, the word talent. Now, I've told all of you before that I am a self-professed geek. I enjoy being a geek. Part of my geekiness extends to words. I love words. I love learning new words. I love using arcane words. I love learning about words. And part of that is called etymology, not entomology. Does anybody know the difference? Bugs, that's right. Which one's bugs? Man, y'all are great. See, y'all are geeks too. We're all in this together. I love it. So, etymologists will tell you, if you ever happen to meet one, that the word talent comes originally from a Babylonian usage, so the Babylonian Empire. And the word talent was used to measure a certain amount of weight. A certain amount of weight was considered a talent. Now, when we get to the Greek in the New Testament, or like the Israelites of Jesus' time, talent was a unit of weight of measure of money. 1 talent was equivalent to about 15 years worth of wages for a day laborer earning about 1 denarius a day. That was a talent. So that's how the word existed for quite some time, and it just didn't go away. And some form of it continued on through Old Latin and French, and finally it ended up in English, and sometime around the year 1800, the meaning for this word changed. It changed from, in common usage anyway, from being a unit of measure or weight to being about one's abilities, about one's gifts, about what one has to offer. And evidently, etymologists believe it comes from this parable. This parable that talks about people's abilities. This parable that talks about people doing something or nothing with what they've got as talent. That's where we got our current understanding of the word talent. So instead of, when someone says talent, we don't think of an amount of money or weight, do we? We think of someone's ability. And evidently it comes from this parable. And the master in this parable is evidently incredibly generous with his talents, right? So we have a story about a master who was going on a journey. Now we don't know where the master's going to. We don't know how long he's going to be gone. We just know that he's going. And he calls 3 of his servants to him, and he gives them each some talents according to their ability. To one he gives 5, to one he gives 2, to another he gives 1. He doesn't tell them how long he's going to be gone, doesn't tell them where he's going, and he doesn't tell them what to do with these talents. He just gives it to them and leaves. Now, we can assume from this that this guy's got a lot of talent, right? I mean, in addition to these 5 plus 2, 8 talents that he gives out, he must have more money than that set aside. Remember, he's going on a journey. He's got to have some kind of money to support him while he's gone. Now, I think that an estimate is that 1 talent from then equals about $250,000 today. So this guy had $2 million just to give away, just to hand it over and say, take care of it. Not going to tell you how to do it, just take care of it. Now, to me, that sounds like a rather generous person, right? So he goes on this journey, comes back, he calls his servants to them, and to the first one whom he had given 5 talents, he finds out that he's made twice the amount. He's got 5 more talents. To the second one who had 2 talents has made 2 talents. And to the third one who had given 1 talent, well, just 1 talent. This one had done almost nothing with the money. This one had taken the talent and buried it to keep it safe. And when the master confronts him about this, he says to the master, I knew you were a harsh man, reaping where you did not sow, gathering where you did not plant. And I was afraid, and so I hid your money. Here, have what is yours. Now that's a very different picture that this servant or slave has of the master. This slave says the master is a harsh man. This same master who just generously gave him a talent to do something with. Same master who, when he sees the other servants, seems to be pretty generous again. He praises them. He says, "Well done, good and faithful or trustworthy servants. You have been faithful or trustworthy in small things. You will be faithful or trustworthy in large things. Come and enter into the joy of your master." Doesn't sound like a harsh or a cruel man to me. So what is it? Is this a generous master? Or is it a harsh master? The reality is, I don't really know. I mean, we don't really know. What I do know is that this makes the master a very interesting and complex person in this parable. Which is fascinating because normally when people talk about this parable, they talk about the servants or the slaves who get the talents more so than they do the master. Which makes perfect sense because this is a great stewardship sermon, right? So the word steward, here's some more geekiness. The word stewardship comes from the word steward. A steward was someone who took care of the household properties. So stewardship is talking about how you take care of properties or how you take care of resources. In the Christian church, we have taken on that to mean something even more. In the Christian church, we have come to believe that we are stewards of God's resources. We are stewards of God's creation. And so we should take care of what God has given us and maybe even do more with it. So this master has given talents to these servants. 2 of them have taken care of them and done well with them. 1 of them, out of fear, has done nothing. Good stewardship and bad stewardship. Here at this church, when we talk about stewardship, we have a stewardship group of our session, and they are responsible for the physical property, the finances, and the personnel of this church. That's stewardship. In our personal lives, we talk about what we own and what we possess and what we do with it. That's stewardship. What we do with what we've got, that is stewardship. And this is a great parable about stewardship. The master praises those who have done great things with what they have been given, and chastises the one who, out of fear, did nothing with what they have been given. And that's why most people focus on the servants or the slaves in this passage, rather than this really interesting master. Which surprises me, because when we look at it from the point of view of the master, it's a little bit of a different story. I mean, normally we assume that the master here in the parable is God who gives us talents and trusts us to do something with them. But what if that's not the case? What if the master is just a person who has plenty of talents to give out, plenty of wealth to give out, plenty of resources to give out? What if the master is a person who is willing to let go of his resources and entrust them to others, hoping something good will come out of it? So about 30 years ago, I heard a minister preach, and she was telling a story about her grandfather. Her grandfather was a farmer. Her grandfather had plenty of land, but there was one plot of land that was just absolutely rotten. It was no good. But every year, year after year, he would buy enough seed to plant that plot of land. And every year, year after year, it never yielded anything worth harvesting. So finally, one year, the preacher said, her grandmother said to her grandfather, "Why are you wasting your time and your money on that ridiculous plot of land? Everyone knows it's no good. I know it's no good. You know it's no good. Everybody knows it's no good. Why are you wasting your time and energy on this ridiculous plot of land?" The preacher said that her grandfather looked at her grandmother and said, "You may know it's no good. I may know it's no good. Everyone else may know it's no good. But it doesn't know it's no good. And so I'm going to give it a chance to find out if it knows if it's any good." So what if stewardship is also about the willingness to let go of our resources to others, to trust others to see what they might do? This generous master was willing to do just that. But he didn't just do it willy-nilly. It says that he gave each according to their ability. He kind of expected the one to whom he gave 5 and the one to whom he gave 2 to do something with it. The one to whom he gave 1, not so much. And he just let them have it and see what they could do. So maybe part of stewardship is a willingness to just let go of our resources, to entrust what we have to others sometime, to give them ability to use their talents and let their lights shine. So maybe, just maybe, stewardship isn't just about what we do with what we've got, but it's also about letting go of what we have, and trusting that something might happen. It may not. But what if that's what stewardship is also about? Amen.